Now, when leaders talk about regret, they usually talk about wrong decisions. The deal they shouldn't have signed, the hire they should have made, or the call that backfired. But in my experience, most leadership regrets come from something far simpler: decision made too late. Now, at the time, the delay always feels reasonable. You're gathering information, you're being considerate, you're waiting for the right moment. But leadership doesn't remember intent, it remembers timing. Now, let me explain this. One of the hardest things about leadership is knowing when waiting is wisdom and when waiting is avoidance. Early in my career, I believed that more thinking always led to better decisions. Now I am not so sure. And here's why. When a decision is delayed, people don't stay neutral. They adapt, they lower expectations, they fill the gaps themselves. They stop asking. But by the time you finally act, the moment you were deciding for has already passed. And let me give you another simpler example. I've seen leaders delay addressing friction between two strong performers. Not because they didn't see it, but because they hoped it would resolve on its own. And it didn't. What could have been a short, direct conversation early turned into side stories and resentment. When the leaders finally stepped in, the problem wasn't misunderstanding anymore, it was actually history. That's the cost of late decisions. And another place this shows up is structure. Leaders often delay clarifying roles or expectations because they don't want to constrain people. So responsibilities stay kind of fuzzy, ownership overlaps, decisions gets revisited again and again. Eventually, someone gets frustrated and asks, so who actually owns this? And in that moment, clarity feels overdue, not helpful. Now, here's the uncomfortable truth: a late decision rarely feels like leadership, it feels like correction. And correction costs more than direction ever does. Now, over time, I have learned to watch for one signal. If a decision keeps coming back to you, meeting after meeting, conversation after conversation, it's probably already late. The question isn't, is this the perfect decision? It is, what's the cost of not deciding now? And that cost usually shows up as lost energy, lost trust, or lost momentum, and none of which shows up in data. Now, the irony is leaders are often afraid that deciding too early will make them look careless, but deciding too late makes them look absent. Clarity, even imperfect clarity, gives people something to respond to. Silence actually gives them nothing. So, if you're sitting with a decision that you've been revisiting for a while, ask yourself honestly, am I waiting because I need more information, or am I waiting because I'm uncomfortable with what comes next? Because leadership, especially when things aren't clear, is less about being right and more about being timely. If you're liking these episodes, please do like, share, and subscribe to the channel. And yes, do comment in the comment section below. You can share this with your friends and colleagues so that it will be useful for them as well. Thank you.